Oh, man, that's ridiculous. As somebody who was, like, a huge fan of Apocalyptica growing up, like, this is going to be hilarious.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I don't know if you went through that, like, string music phase, like, in high school. I don't know if you ever did that. No?
No,
Never?
I don't think so. I don't think string music, no.
I went through a Vitamin String Quartet.
Vitamin String Quartet is very pleased to know that you exist. Because you're the only human being that's ever said, I went through a Vitamin String Quartet phase.
The first? You think I'm the first
Easy
person
money.
to ever say that?
You're like the first person to drink milk right now. Like, I don't know why you would admit to that.
Dude,
string music.
Dude, we tell stories of our shitting ourselves for a living. Like, why would I not further embarrass myself? Like,
but a Vitamin String
Quartet. It was weird because they... Oh, no, now I gotta defend myself.
Oh, no, I'm playing.
I feel like, because they did a lot of covers of really cool video games stuff.
Yeah,
they did a lot of covers of, like, actual music, which was really cool.
That's why they were
And
there.
I just loved that, like, Apocalyptica sound. I loved that. I don't know why it fucking sucked me in as a child. Like, I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I was like, oh, I need more of this shit in my life. So I basically did the 2003 version of if you like this, you might like this. And I went to Google and I was just like, give me cello music. And then it gave me all the classical music and I'm like, cello music but modern. I was remembering my search.
You're narrowing your search party?
Yeah, and it gave me all these covers because I didn't know how to fucking word it. I was stupid. Right. Now, like, I got all these covers. I got, like, Disturbed covers, which was really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Because I was 14.
Right.
And, actually, this wasn't 2003. This was, if I was 14, this was, like, 2007. So, like, I got, like, Disturbed. I got All Time Low.
Oh yeah.
I got As I Lay Dying.
Let's
I
go.
got shit like that. Yeah.
All right.
So
okay, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is it's such a cool sound.
We the Kings, like,
wow,
how crazy.
Crazy. And speaking of crazy and cellos, I'm actually I so if you go back and listen to the Golden Boy podcast that we did. There's a character there that has a motorcycle fetish.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you remember correctly.
Reiko,
yeah. And
scratched an itch I didn't even know I had.
You hear me in the episode say, I've got such a story, because I do, and it does have to do with people with a sexual fetish for inanimate objects.
Dude,
and
what? Okay, all right. I'm invested.
So I went to art school, as I've said before, and there was a lot of people in the music program.
Suddenly this story makes a lot more sense.
Right. So these people came from all around, either like very doing this for a while or just very good at it. Who knows? But Purchase is also an extremely weird place. No one is ready. Like, they're like, yeah, I'll go to this place. It'll be cool and fun and weird. And you're like,
no average story has ever started with the time I was at Purchase College.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And so there was a
responsible for one of my favorite shit stories we've ever told. On this podcast.
Of course. R.I.P. Love D-Hole. So my attention was directed to a little website that, quite similarly to your odd Tinder, Grindr, Bumble, Hinge, like meant to connect people with similar fetishes, called FetLife.
Oh no!
So, as you might imagine, FetLife was incredibly popular on Purchase College.
Sweet God. Oh no.
And there was a person. Let's go ahead and same person. Who, whichever gender you expect, it's not the one you're thinking of. Doesn't matter which one you pick. Of the many, it's not the one you're thinking of. Because, yeah, it's that weird of a story. I believe that there was a person who was in the music program that refused to do the nasty with anyone without their cello involved in some way. Like, it had to either be...
Excuse me?
either in the bed, involved in the act. It was a lot. And my friend sent it to me. He's just like, you're going to want to read this. And he was right. He was absolutely right. Obviously, there's like a lot of alias and not a lot of pictures of this person. They're not exactly posting.
I would say the fuck
their
so.
Acts, but they were there. And every time it was like it became like it was like The Matrix or like Minority Report or something. I was like looking to see, and everyone I passed as I was going to class,
enhance.
I'm like, I bet you fuck a cello.
You look like a cello fucker.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to die. Oh, didn't we come here to talk about Samurai Jack?
Hi, welcome to the Tryforce podcast, where we talk about video games, we talk about movies, anime now, apparently.
Yeah, we're fucking multimedia at this point.
That alone is going to get us copyright.
Watch the show.
No.
It's the Tryforce.
Wow. Wow, man. Wow. Okay.
Well, cello again, my friends. Welcome to the Tryforce podcast.
We cannot. Okay. You know what? Fuck it. Let it roll.
Samurai Jack.
Wow.
An American cartoon series.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, we are in fact here to talk about Samurai Jack.
Not that you would get that sense at all.
Not at all. He uses instruments of his own kind.
No. We must do this for the people.
We have to continue. But I just wanted to tell a quick story
Please.
beforehand.
Oh my god, please.
But so I just wanted to give a shout out to the Tryforce's own Nicole, who is now my betrothed. We are engaged now. And I'm very, very happy about it. I'm extremely happy about it. I proposed to her via Sea Lion.
Yeah.
Should I expand upon that?
I think now that it's out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably should.
You know what? You guys can look at my Twitter on CZ Special. I posted the video.
You could do that. I was
yeah.
referencing the fact that you said I proposed to her via Sea Lion. I feel like the people are going to need a little context.
Yeah. So I'll give a little context. Basically, what happened was I went to the aquarium out here on Long Island, and it was really, really beautiful. And we were doing the sea lion encounter where Nicole and I could do tricks with the sea lion. We could tell the sea lion what to do, like do tricks, and we get to feed them too, which is really cool. So we got the last trick was, quote unquote, Nicole was going to help train a behavior for this sea lion. And the sea lion was going to get a sign, and she was going to pull the string, and it was going to be for like gender reveal parties and stuff like that. So Nicole gets up there, and she pulls the sign and goes, ta-da! And she's not reading the sign, but the sign actually says, "Will you marry me?" And I'm behind her with the ring, and she just freaked out. And the sea lion's there just fucking vibing this whole time. Just chilling out, and no idea what just happened.
None of these ridiculous human customs.
Absolutely not. But shout out to Java the Sea Lion, my wingman.
Shout out, bro.
Shout out to Java, man.
Oh,
So cool. And everybody else at the aquarium, you guys were unbelievable. That was so cool.
yeah. You got a little customer service as it comes to one of your favorite cartoon series.
Yeah. So, if I didn't already know Nicole was the one by that day, this is how I knew she was the one.
And obviously, congratulations to
Oh,
you
yeah.
both.
Thank
I love
you
you
so
both.
much. I'm so happy. It's finally happened, and I'm just like, I watch the video every day, man. I love it. It's
I would
so
too,
good.
buddy. Yeah, good for you.
So this is what happened. This is how, like, confirmed cosmically I'm going to be with this woman for the rest of my life, and I
Right.
know this. So we were talking about sea lions with the trainers, and I was curious, like, how do sea lions drink water? They live in the ocean. And I didn't know this. They don't. They eat squids, which are basically water sacks. So
That's the hardest shit I've ever heard.
how crazy is that shit?
That's amazing.
right? What the fuck? That's how they stay hydrated.
How do you just live in water and not drink it? What a fucking Chad.
How crazy is that? And that goes for, like, other marine mammals, too. That's fucking banana sandwiches to me.
That's nuts.
Right? So we were finding out shit like that, and, like, Nicole was like, Java's huge. He's a ridiculously big sea lion. And and the trainer goes, yeah, he's about half the size of a wild male sea lion. Because apparently the way that sea lions are is that there's one male and then there's like 100 females for him, and he has to defend his whole territory. Now, Nicole, being the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with, goes, is it like, I remember seeing that. There was an episode of Futurama like that, and then the trainer just puts her hand up like in a stop motion and goes, it's exactly like that episode of Futurama. I know exactly which one you're talking about. It is exactly like that.
Oh, yes.
I felt my soul leave my body. I was
That's like a cartoonish interaction in real life. That's amazing.
I was laughing so hard. I almost, like, I had the ring in my hand and I almost dropped it. I was laughing so hard. Imagine if that shit spoiled the engagement.
Yes. Yes, I can imagine that.
Oh my god. And Nicole was just like, oh, okay.
Will you marry me? Of course I'll marry you. I'll be right back.
Oh,
Like punching out a sewer grate trying to find it. Well, that's fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Good for you both.
that was so cool.
That's crazy that a marine mammal is the
That was my
beginning
wingman for that.
of your nuptials.
Dude,
But-
I can't wait because, like, they apparently have wedding packages there too.
Is Java coming to the wedding?
I hope Java comes to the wedding. I imagine him in a little bow tie. Oh my
Absolutely.
god, that'd be fucking adorable. Like, I would love that so much. But imagine the penguins. The penguins could be there too.
Already formal.
They're already formal.
Already formal.
They're dressed for the occasion already.
Already formal.
Oh man, I love that shit.
I recently was talking with someone, and she she described our. She was like, "Hey, do you know any good podcasts?" And I was like, "Well, I know of one, And I was like, "Obviously, you're gonna shamelessly self plug." And so she's been listening, and I was just I learned a new term, which is apparently like a comedy, jokey entertainment term that I didn't know. The straight man.
Really?
Yeah, not like a straight man, like a heterosexual
Yeah,
man,
I
which
was
is exactly what I thought she was saying at first. But basically, the setup for the knockdown, the person that has to like create the joke, and then the other person has to come in and be funny.
Yeah, I mean, we do that back and forth with each other.
Yeah.
And I like your term a lot better, joke tennis. That was
Joke
really fun.
Yes. But the TV tropes page was sent to me by that person who believes us to be hilarious, by the way.
Oh, very nice. Shout outs.
Yes, Quantum Mythics. Mythic is a good. QM's a good person.
Sick. That is a sick name.
And she sent me this TV tropes of the original Batman animated series of the Joker and Lex Luthor. And is this not just the two of us?
That really is just the two of us.
It's just you pointing at me and patting my head and laughing. And I'm just angry. It's a crumbling straight man routine, but next to your how is it explained? Enthusiastic insanity. So that's how we're branding from now on.
I love that. I also like to think of us as Season 9 Goku and Vegeta, where Vegeta has just accepted his role on the team.
He's just giving
and
up.
he's not happy about it. But he's going along with it. And he's like perfectly capable in that role. He's like, okay, you know what? I just had my fucking temper tantrum. I know my place on the team. It's all working out. I hate that it's all working out, but it's all working out. So I'm going to continue being this way.
Do you want me to go to a different Wikipedia? I mean, we cannot talk about Samurai Jack.
No, it's okay.
You can make this a DBZ evening if you want.
No. We got to do it. We got enough DBZ content coming up. So
That is true. So let's talk about Dragon Ball Jack. Let's talk about Samurai Z.
Who would win in a fight, Goku or Samurai Jack? Oh, just Gus.
Samurai Jack.
Oh, probably.
Season 2 comes to us in 2002. Not too far after Aku's Fairy Tales and the end of Season 1. December 3rd for the end of Season 1. 2001 to March 1st, 2002. So not a whole lot of time.
It's really funny because I remember watching the end of Aku's Fairy Tales as a kid, and I'm like, that can't be the fucking end of Samurai Jack. Like, no new like, I remember watching it like a few weeks later, and like they're all reruns. I'm like, is Samurai Jack over? That's how it ended. And then I saw the like new episodes of Samurai Jack. I'm like, oh, thank God!
March 1st.
Oh man,
Colton, answer me, damn it.
yes. Oh. God.
I just wanted to know why you weren't talking to me.
I was like, okay, so I was like biting my nails when you did that.
Didn't see that at all.
I just had like a visceral childhood memory come back to me. I was like, oh my God.
I didn't trigger
Yes,
anything.
Dad.
No. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not what I wanted to do at all.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
The way you looked at me.
Stop. Oh, stop it. Oh, no.
We're not going to get through this podcast.
Not at all.
are we?
Not at all. Not with any degree of ease. Let's start talking about episode 1, shall we?
Remember when I said I wanted to be out by 6?
Yeah. Should we just... This is a lost episode. This is just... We put this out to show the people how it's really like. This is all the stuff that gets put on the cutting room floor. Oh, God.
How far are we in? Holy shit, man. We are 20 minutes into this thing.
Excellent. So, Colton,
Yeah.
what kind of what is a skill that you have?
A skill that I have.
Yeah.
I'm definitely good at Smash.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I've actually come to realize that the other day. I'm tired of calling myself intermediate. Like, I'm good at it.
You are good at
You
it.
know,
It's a skill you have.
I'm not amazing at it. Like, I'm good at it.
You're qualifying it as a skill that you
Yeah,
have.
I'm It's enough where it's enough where it's a skill where I had to train a skill. You know, I'm good with computers.
Okay,
I'm good at editing.
sure.
I'm good at making podcasts.
Correct.
I hope.
Well, if there's one skill that's going to become important in this first episode, it's the skill to jump good.
Yes.
See,
I love
it's-
his voice.
Yeah. I'm going to hear it a bunch. I'm going to hear it a lot. So episode 1, March 1st, 2002, Jack learns to jump good. After his lack of jumping skills caused him to lose a chance to return home, Jack helps a peaceful tribe of ape-like creatures and their human leader defend themselves against the attacks of a larger rival tribe in returns for lessons on how to, quote-unquote, say it with me now, jump good.
Oh,
I
man.
can't tell you how viscerally uncomfortable that makes me.
Really?
The Frank Oz voice.
Oh yeah.
No, I love it. I love how good you are at it.
I love this episode because this is the season where Aku is just kind of flexing on Jack.
Yeah.
You know, like he's really fucking with him. Like outwardly and openly fucking with him this season. And it opens up to a shot where where Jack,
Hey,
I will never watch this show
Gotta
the same
get
again.
back to the past.
Samurai Zack. I love it. I would love that shit. So it opens with Jack just going through and cutting up these Beetleborgs and just running to this portal that's going to take him back in time, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, so Aku just has this portal out. He just has it out.
Gosh. Forgot that there. Left that out there.
In case I fucking need it. So, like, he's going to this portal, and Aku just shoots up from the edge of the cliff, grabs the portal, and raises it up farther than Jack can jump. And he's just like, oh, you almost had it. Oh, you gotta jump higher than that.
Jesus Christ.
Such a dick.
Yeah. Monkey in the middle with it.
Yeah, he just flies away. And Jack is, decidedly upset about that.
Yeah.
So he does this whole my quest continues, and he goes into the forest and has himself a little picnic for one, and he sees a bunch of these eyes start peering at him. And then one of them reveals themselves, this big, hairy dude in a loincloth. He's just like, can I have some of your food? So,
and Jack, I would say,
yeah,
probably a little bit off put by
a
it.
little off put, but like he's a nice dude, so he's like, fuck it, why not? Like,
Speaks English, so
yes,
whatever.
Like, I can communicate with him. Fuck. So he introduces Jack to the tribe, and all of a sudden, this gang of rival gorillas comes and like steals all their food and shit.
Right.
And the guy jumps away first. He's like, oh, how do I do that? And he's just like, tribe teach you to jump good. Like, it's iconic.
True.
So he goes to the village, and this pack of gorillas just comes and chases the other little monkeys away and starts eating all their food. And they're a peaceful race of monkeys. They don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Jack's just like, you know what? I'll make you a deal. You teach me to jump good. I teach you how to fight.
It's a decent trade.
So they're like, yes!
Decent trade.
Absolutely. So Jack just single-handedly whips these gorillas.
Sure does.
Just murks all of them. And
Opposable thumbs and higher thought, bitch.
well, no, gorillas have opposable thumbs.
Wait. Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh. Oops.
Anyway.
Here I thought we had something on them.
A zoology lesson from the Tryforce podcast.
Dun, 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 dun.
So Jack gets done with these gorillas, and he's taught by the tribe to jump good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done. This is one of my favorite sequences in this show because he gets rocks tied to his arms, rocks tied to his feet. Cool, that's great. And then the leader, who's the human, throws a boulder onto his back. That I looked at this boulder and I took it into Photoshop and I put Jack in the boulder 9 times.
It's a big one.
It's a big rock.
It's a big old rock.
And it is tied to his back, and they basically just start jumping away, and they're like, follow us.
Bet. Fuck you. But he does it.
Yeah, he does, man.
In sandals.
In sandals.
I'm going to keep reiterating it. In sandals.
That fact gets even fucking crazier later in this season.
Those are some dedicated sandals.
Absolutely. You know what's even crazier? Remember in season 1 where he fought like the anti-Jack?
Yeah.
One of the catalysts for his anger is that he was just walking and one of the straps just snapped.
Sure.
Like, they didn't before.
No. Nope. Just then. So
anyway,
Jack is doing his Rock Lee routine,
Yeah.
kind of jumping with the weights, and
Yep.
it's obviously extremely difficult.
Oh yeah,
But
he's
I
gotta
think
climb vines with that shit on.
I think eventually it comes to a point where they just gradually sort of start taking them off,
no,
or they all come off at once.
they all come off at once.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's an insane training regimen.
yeah, and he just learns to move like that. Like that's fucking insanity.
They need to update Jack's character model after this.
On a diet of fruits exclusively.
No protein.
None at all. Maybe tree nuts. Maybe.
So eventually, Jack does learn to, in fact, Go for it.
It's I'm good.
Okay. And so he rendezvous with Aku again with the portal,
Yeah.
and I remember it specifically because I had waited so hard for Samurai Jack season 2, and I was here, and then there was monkey people, and he was jumping, and I was like, okay, not really what I expected, but here we go. And I was waiting for the moment of payoff, really, and it really comes at the very end of the episode when Jack, he just says, Aku's got the portal again and is taunting him, and then Jack just, as you described it to me the other day, he just sort of rises. Like, when they jump, it just looks like they're floating.
Yeah.
So he just fucking starts going vertical on Aku's ass.
So funny.
And
Because the jump model looks like shit. I'm sorry.
How are you going
Everything
to talk
is-
shit about Genndy Tardakovsky right now?
Everything is so beautiful in this show, but this particular moment looks so funny.
This is the one.
It made me laugh so hard when I rewatched it. Like, it was amazing. It was a great episode, but God, did that jump animation make me laugh, because they just ascended.
Mm-hmm. And so, as you might imagine, when seeing something like that, Aku questions, "You can fly?" And Jack goes, "No, jump good."
Oh,
It's a fucking great way to end an episode. It's a great way to begin a season. Let's move on.
Yes.
Episode 2, Jack's Tales. Not Aku's Tales, Jack's Tales.
Oh yeah.
This is a mini episode, an episode of 3 mini sort of stories.
Right.
We've got Jack versus the Worm. Jack confronts a 2-headed riddling worm that could grant his wish to return home. The Metal Eaters.
Oh yeah, this was cool.
A family that feeds on metal tries to eat Jack's sword. And Jack the Gargoyle and the Fairy. Jack attempts to rescue a fairy from a gargoyle so he can grant his wish to return home. I remember that last one.
Are we doing those 3 episodes like back
It's
to back?
one episode.
That's one episode. What the? Oh
It's-
yeah, that is one episode.
It's one episode with 3 little mini
Oh yeah,
stories
that
in it.
That is one episode. Okay, all right. I blanked. I thought those were all their own separate episodes.
Because Samurai Jack is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's an extremely dense show. And I really liked this one because I liked the Jack and the Worm one because it was literally like that whole joke where it's like one tells the truth and one tells a lie.
Oh,
You
right.
know, it's one of those.
That old logic puzzle, yeah.
Yeah. So he's just like, which one of you is the liar? So he's just like, obviously one worm is like, it's me. It's my brother. So he's just like, oh, well then I'm picking the one who said it's my brother.
Right.
You know?
True.
So, and I thought that was really cool, but the worm just fucks with him the whole time. It's like, if you guess incorrectly, we're going to eat you. But if you guess correctly, we're going to send you to the place where all your wishes get granted.
Mm-hmm.
And he guesses correctly, and the worm eats him anyway. So,
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic Samurai Jack.
Yeah, and he's just like in the worm's stomach, and he's just like, when do I get my wish? And he looks around, there's a bunch of people there. He's like, there is no wish, is there? They all just shake their heads, and then that was it. That was the end of the little mini episode.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Clearly makes his way out of that.
Yeah, very clearly.
In order for someone to try to eat his sword.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this one was weird. So he's around a campfire, eating at a picnic, doing whatever. And this family comes up and he's just like, we're really hungry. We haven't eaten for days. And he's just like, you're welcome to share my food if that's the case. So this little kid goes and crawls up to his sword and goes to take a bite out of it. And he's like, no, that's dangerous. And then he's like still trying to bite the sword. He's like, the fuck is going on here?
Mhm.
This was a fucked up episode.
Yeah.
So like the family starts going like feral looking at the sword. And they're like, he's like, oh, he figured it out. He's like, oh, they want to eat this. This is what they meant by food. Because they heard him sharpening it in the woods, and that's how they found him.
Practically like when you hear cookies baking, you smell cookies baking. or something.
Exactly. So he starts fighting them off. And he's like losing because he's trying not to kill them. He's just trying to knock them out so he can get distance. Like as Samurai Jack do. So he's just like, all right, there's no other way I can do this. So he cuts the woman who attacks him with like claws and shit like that. He cuts and her face falls off to reveal a robotic face.
Word?
And all of her family members turn to her and look with that.
Oh my
ravenous-
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't remember this resolution.
Yeah. So they're like, she's like, what are you all looking at me like that for? And they all start to go attack her. And she punches her husband, I think, in the stomach and reveals metal there. And they all start picking pieces off of each other and they all eat each other.
Nightmarish.
Yeah. They're robots, but holy fuck!
Why would you make a robot eat metal?
Well, maybe it's like a recycling robot. You saw the movie Robots, right?
Jack the Gargoyle and the fairy. Jack attempts to rescue a fairy from a gargoyle so he can return to his rich home. It's typical Gygaxian shit. We're moving on.
Yeah. This one was actually cool. The gargoyle was like Worcestershire British for some reason.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really funny. But so the fairy is like, if you catch the fairy, you get one wish.
Right.
She has the power to grant one wish.
And
So
the
she's
gargoyle is
trapped.
keeping the fairy trapped. Yeah.
Yep. So Jack goes in and he climbs the castle to get inside. And he goes to free the fairy. And she goes, no, wait. And he puts his hand inside this electrical orb that she's inside. And he's able to grab the fairy, but he can't pull his hand out the orb. So.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
I remember this.
So she's like, now we're both trapped in here. And he's like, okay, what do we do? So she's like, he has the key. So he's got like this pendant that's like an electrical orb.
Classic.
So, and he's asleep, so he's got to pull it off, and he eventually gets the necklace off of the sleeping gargoyle, and he's like clinking it against the thing, and it's like making those shockwave sounds, and she's like, stop doing that, you're gonna wake him up. So he obviously wakes up because Jack doesn't fucking understand that. And he's got to fight the gargoyle. And this is one of the cooler sequences because Jack's right-handed. He reached out with his right hand.
Right.
So how's he going to fight? His sword hand is trapped.
He puts his sword into the orb as well.
No, he does not.
What?
She stops him from doing that. She's like, if you do that, the sword's going to get stuck too. So what he does is he left hands the sword, and it's the back end of the sword. So he's just like using it like a fucking ninja sword.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So he kills the gargoyle, and the gargoyle, like, his arms fall off. And he's just like, he knows he's beat at this point. So he looks at Jack's hand with the fairy inside of it, and he sees the orb is encapsulated. He starts laughing as he crumbles away,
Mm-hmm.
So the fairy's like, what did you do? And he's like, I saved you from the gargoyle. And she goes, now you've trapped us forever because only he knew the magic words to get us out. So they're in a bit of a pickle.
I would say so.
A bit of a pickle. So Jack, being the, altruistic, just the most good person that you could be,
Yeah.
looks at the fairy and goes, I wish both of us were free.
Oh, what a good dude.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him. Yeah.
And that was the end of the
Yeah, they
episode.
get-
I'm like, oh my God.
What a good dude.
Oh, it's so nice.
They're really good at ending on
really
a
sweet
a
notes.
sweet note, and then but it's just a hard cut. Like,
Yeah.
there's no resolution afterwards, and I fucking love
It's
that.
totally up to you, the resolution of the episode. It's so good.
Love that shit. Episode 3. Yeah. Episode 3. Jack in the smackback. Jack is captured and taken to the Dome of Doom.
Yeah, this is your stereotypical, like, episode 2 shit. Like, Attack of the Clones bullshit. This is the Attack of the Clones episode.
Where he was forced. I don't really like the implication that you're stating there. What do you got to say about Attack of the Clones?
Well, because that's when they did the Colosseum shit, right? Where they got captured into the Colosseum.
That is true.
Yeah.
Where
That's the first thing that happened. That's the first thing I thought of.
Good.
So.
You should. Where he's forced to fight as a gladiator against the Dome's champions. So pretty much just an arena episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in typical fare here.
Yeah, you're like your gladiator episode, enslaved to fight for entertainment. Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure they tug at the heartstrings, as they do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that were captured against their will, and
that doesn't fit Aku's MO at
Yeah,
all.
not at all. So they're fighting for, they're basically fighting for their ability to be free, but there's champions that they have to beat, and if they do, then they get to be freed. But these champions are extremely good fighters and didn't become champions for fucking nothing.
Sure.
You know? So,
Sure.
Jack battles his way out. This was basically, if you love fight scenes, if you love fight choreography, just watch this episode. You need no context for this episode.
Sure.
Just watch it. It was one of the most beautifully animated episodes of Samurai Jack I've ever seen. And at the end, this is where he's getting like frustrated, but also still altruistic. You know what I mean? Where he's just like, I'm not afraid to cut a bitch open if it means I save all these people. He's got to that point now. So he beats all of these people. He beats all of the champions, and he's like, no, now that I'm the champion, we're closing the arena down. This is done. We're done here. This is not happening. I'm not fighting for your entertainment. Nobody's fighting for anyone's entertainment anymore. This thing is done. And he's just like, but what do we do? He jumps up to the coordinator.
Because he can jump good now.
Yeah, he can jump good now. So he jumps up there, and he puts his sword to his neck and goes, free them.
What are you going to say? With folded Japanese steel to your throat, bro.
Yeah, he's just like, okay. And then he just walks off into the sunset, and that is the end of the episode.
This is a neutral good solo campaign if I've ever seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah.
Episode fucking 4, boys. Jack and the Scotsman 2. Romantic Boogaloo. Let's get it.
This was one of my favorite episodes of anything ever.
The Scotsman needs Jack's help in rescuing his kidnapped wife from the castle of Bern.
Can we just say how the Scotsman found Jack, by the way?
I don't actually quite remember, so yeah, please.
He finds Jack in a bar.
Classic.
Because Jack is now labeled as the most dangerous man on the planet.
He's just a Japanese guy with
He's
a sword.
just a Japanese dude with a sword. And all of these bounty
fully
hunters,
human man. Like,
all of these bounty hunters fucking gang up on him, and he destroys the bar. And one of my favorite scenes from this episode is he's just eating. He's just fucking eating. And then they all look at the picture, look at him, look at the picture, look at him, and then they all draw their weapons on him. And he's just fighting them. Hops behind the counter, hops behind the bar, continues eating a little bit. They shoot holes in the ale barrels. He just grabs a glass from under the counter, fills one up, and drinks it. He's like, oh, that's better. And then he goes out and just cuts them all down.
has a quick draw.
Just a quick one. And the Scotsman just barrels into this fucking bar. He's like, I had a feeling I'd find you here. Love him so much.
That's just the foresight that it requires to know that Jack is in a single location.
Because he's always in the most dangerous places.
Literally.
Wherever there's a gang of bounty hunters, Jack's probably within a mile.
Yeah.
And I just love it. This episode made me realize, I know the other episode of the Scotsman, like the first Scotsman episode, made me realize that that's us as a team, but this is really it. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the episode that cements that dynamic.
Sure.
It's literally like the straight man dynamic you were talking about.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, it's a new term. You learn a new term.
I
all the time.
I love it.
Yeah, no, Jack is definitely the Scotsman straight man. That's definitely how it works. But
I love that big hairy bastard.
So the Scotsman's wife has been very like highest room of the tallest tower type shit, stuck in a castle somewhere. And so he, from what I remember, Jack and the Scotsman fight their way up this castle, just to have more Jack and the Scotsman adventures.
Oh, yeah.
And Jack is like, what? Who loves this man? Like, who could possibly? This is his wife. Who matrimonied with this? And he's just like, this lady's got to be like either really strong or extremely hot, for him to go to all this trouble. And he gets there, and it's pretty much just the Scotsman as a woman. Like, it's
taller than him,
screaming at him, and
berating the both of them as they're carrying her out. And just so fucking funny. Please watch this episode. If you just love nonsense, this episode is the one. And the whole time, by the way, the Scotsman is crying. Like, he's literally weeping over the fact that his wife is captured. And he's just describing her as they're running in. And he's just so head over heels in love with her. He's such a romantic man. He is an extremely romantic man. And they get back to his clan castle.
Mm-hmm.
And they get into the castle, and it is just like 30 people that look exactly like him in varying degrees of Scottish intensity.
Oh, no.
They're all just him, but louder.
Jack's worst nightmare.
Absolutely. So apparently, this was also really funny because they clown on Scotland so hard with this one joke where this old man with a deer antler helmet comes out, completely invisible from the neck up, but he's just got these old like spindly hands. And he's got this staff, and he's just like, bah, 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 like speaks like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jack's like, who is that? The Scotsman's like, that's the clan druid. He speaks our most ancient tongue. It's just sounds. It's just
I love that.
And he's just like, he says you're not strong enough to help me with this. So the thing was, he has to go in either by himself or he has to enlist the help of a stranger outside of his clan. Mm-hmm. So those are the terms of him going into this castle. And the druid's like, this guy's not strong enough. How far can he huck a rock? So they, they like get the strongest member of the clan, and we're going to do this. If he can throw the rock farther than Angus was the guy's name.
Angus.
Yeah. So if he can throw a rock farther than Angus, then he can do it. So Jack can't do that. He's not that good at that. Mm-hmm. So he's just like,
sure as fuck could jump with it though.
Oh yeah, I was like, all right, I got a better idea. Angus, you're a very strong man. How heavy are you? He's like, about 20 stone. And he's like, oh, you're very strong. Here, put her there. And he holds his hand out for a handshake. Shakes his hand. Twists it up like in an armbar. He's like, ah! He's freaking out. Takes Angus and throws him, and he lands head first on the rock that he threw.
Jack just murdered a man to prove a point.
Druid's like, okay, all right, he passes. We're good.
Start speaking English.
Oh, yeah, it's so fucking funny. So they go into the castle, and they just have this stealth mission to go get his wife, and his wife is louder than the Scotsman, like by a huge margin.
Sure.
Just berating them the entire time they're trying to get. And he's just like, oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Like, head over heels for this woman. Mm-hmm. And they get to the end, and they meet the demon boss that's there. And he's just like, kill the two men and put he says the words, put the fat female into the stew. Mm-hmm. And she goes, the what? She just goes berserk and just absolutely steamrolls this army of demons.
As she should.
Absolutely. And the Scotsman's just sitting back like, oh, that's my wife.
I believe.
Jack's just like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. No. Do I really need the Scotsman in my life?
Yeah. I think it was one of those, like, do I really need this? And a combination of, yeah, you know what? I'm really happy I have this. And Jack's just like, is your clan always this crazy? He's like, yeah, why do you think I never stay at home? I'm the mellow one.
Oh, man. Oh, Genndy. Genndy.
I love them so much. I love the Scotsman episodes.
As you should. They're
so dearly.
so well. They're done so well. They're so funny. He's just such a ridiculous character that you're just like, sure.
He's so over the top, and I love it.
Episode 5, Jack and the Ultra Robots. While investigating the destruction of several scattered villages,
Oh, this episode was so fucking cool.
Jack learns that Aku's new Ultrabots are responsible. Unable to destroy them, he receives assistance from an unexpected source, their creator.
Yeah.
Do not remember this episode at all.
You know what? Look up the pictures of the Ultrabots while I'm doing this. So basically, this creator of robots made these super assassins, like these perfect assassin robots. They can turn invisible. They are made of an uncuttable metal. They can target with shuriken. Like, they have swords. They have literal katanas with them. They are the perfect assassins. Like, they are. Oh, that was the picture up there of the bot.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have these piercing red eyes that are just the cool. Like, what an amazing fucking design, dude.
Yeah, they've kind of got like the straw hat Ronin kind of look.
Yeah, they're mechanical Ronin. They're like unkillable mechanical Ronin, and that's a fantastic way to put it. So the thing that happens is Jack is trying to fight them, and he can't cut them. He can't hurt them, and there's like 7 or 8 of them. So he's going through these villages, and they're just like robots scattered everywhere. Like the citizens of the village are the robots, and they're scattered everywhere. He picks up dying robots, and they tell their story before they die. Like, it's so crazy. Yeah.
Not good.
Not at all. So he finds them, and obviously he's far outmatched by these fucking things. So he runs and he hides, and a voice comes from where he's hiding. He's like, you're not going to be able to defeat them. And he's like, who are you? He's like, I'm the one that built them. So, and the creator tells the story of how he was contracted like it's a legal thing, fucking forced to make these robots under threat of his village's destruction.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was probably on pain of death, knowing Aku.
That's the
I can't imagine Baku being like, and sign here, and here, and here.
We meet on Thursdays. Yeah. So he was forced to make these robots under the threat of his village being destroyed if he didn't. And when Aku got the robots, he's like, why don't we test them out on your village?
Classic.
Yeah. Classic Aku. And he's just like, I want you to destroy these things. And here's how you're going to do it. You're not strong enough to cut these by yourself. You're not strong enough to cut them down. But I have a mechanical arm that you can put on, and it will give you the strength to cut them in half.
Nice.
Yeah. So Jack goes out there with a fucking bionic arm. Like, just absolutely amazing episode.
Just find a way to make your protagonist cooler literally every single episode, and you have Samurai Jack.
Yeah. And so he's going down. He's making quick work of these robots now. And he gets to the last one, and the power on the arm drains. So he's like, oh, what do I do now? And this is the one that has the sword out. So he has a literal katana battle with this robot. And it's so fucking cool to watch, man. It's so cool. It's so cool. And then at the end, he's like, I don't know what I can do. So he just he kneels down on the ground, and he literally calls out to his ancestors and says, if you deem me worthy to continue this quest, give me the power to beat this robot. And a beam of light shoots down to Samurai Jack. Mm-hmm. His sword begins to glow, and he just cuts through this robot like butter.
Love it.
Oh,
can't help but wonder if Jack's ancestors are on the other side of the veil, like, what's a robot?
I don't know what a robot is, but it seems to be giving you trouble. You hear that as the sword's going through. What's a oh.
Episode 6, Jack remembers the past upon stumbling onto the ruins of his family's estate.
This was so sad.
To his family's estate, Jack recalls some of his childhood memories. Gotta suck being in the fucking rubble of where you spent your childhood.
Yeah, there's not really a lot to talk about in this episode. It's just Jack being a kid, chasing grasshoppers and shit. And he meets this girl in the grasshopper field, and they go on an adventure, and they lose the grasshopper, and they're all sad about it. But then Jack comes out, and he had made a little paper grasshopper for the girl. It was so cute. Adorable. But it was really sad to watch him literally go through, like, his home, which was completely reclaimed by nature at this point. There was moss everywhere, vines everywhere. The ruins of his home estate were literally just little spires of wood. And it's just so hard to watch that. And that's really the episode. You know, it's him stumbling upon his home 1,000 years later. You know?
That's gotta fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I spend some time away, and I come home, and I'm like, ugh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a place that exists, and
Like,
I remember it.
When I was watching that, I was thinking about, like, what will this place look like in 1,000 years?
Probably the same.
Episode 7.
Now you did it! You've never done it before! Oh, that's delicious. Hey, man, I'll take it. Episode 7, Jack and the Monks, bro. Jack and the Monks. Jack searches for the truth by climbing, quote, the mountain of Fatum.
This is the one! This is the one I was talking about. The sandals are going to be fucking crazy in this episode.
With 3 monks, obviously. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so essentially this is a mountain climbing episode. That's all you need to know.
I love those. Love a bottle episode.
Yeah, so he's basically climbing the Samurai Jack equivalent of Mount fucking Everest in
Mount Fatum, it says. I know. I'm reiterating for
Mount
the audience.
Fatum, and he's going with these 3 monks that are just shaped like triangles. They are just floating triangles. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, you know what?
I'm gonna go Google. I'm gonna Google. Keep going.
Go Google that. So they are they're no words, no nothing. And this is at the point where Jack is like, he's depressed because he had just seen his home, you know, like that. He just saw like that. He's kind of coming to grips with how hard this is going to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And during one of the points of the episode, he just goes, "This is impossible." You know, that's something he says before he meets the monks. And he goes up the mountain a little bit, and he says he just starts climbing this mountain with these monks, and he's free climbing this mountain, by the way.
Oh yeah,
in nothing but a gi and wooden sandals.
I would kill for his leg strength.
Absolutely,
I would kill.
And the decks you need to be Samurai fucking Jack. Like. Like, what is his dex mod? Like 35?
Put it all into dex.
Like, so anyway, they're climbing the mountain, and Jack's got. I did it again.
What?
I said Zach instead of Jack.
Watch out.
Yeah. So Jack's got to fight through all of these monsters. He's got to fight a fucking Yeti, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. He's got to fight a rock monster that literally throws him off the mountain. And he's got to fight it midair while staying alive, and he loses his sword. And while staying alive, he loses his sword. He's got to climb. He sticks his sword into the side of the mountain and loses it, and he's got to climb back up to where it is to grab it.
Love it.
How fucking insane is that? So he gets to the summit after fighting this Yeti. Not to the summit. He gets like halfway there. And he's just laying in the snow. He's freezing. He's hungry. He's tired. He's like, this is impossible. And then all of a sudden he starts getting visions from the monks who have left the party at this point.
Oh,
I have no idea where the fuck they went.
Fucked off.
So he just starts getting visions from these monks. And I think the point is that the monks were never there at all. You know?
Spooky.
This was a representation episode where he's literally climbing the mountain. He realizes what a mountain he has to climb. You know what I mean? So he just gets visions from these monks of his family enslaved by Aku, his people enslaved by Aku, and the monks are like, "Are you going to give up on them? Did they do this for nothing? Did you come all this way for nothing? Did you forget why you're here?"
I mean, y'all got a pair of climbing shoes, like
I don't know what they had. They were literally
fucking-
just triangles.
like a protein bar or something, bro. I'm suffering out here.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like, "Did you forget everything you worked for?" And he's like, "No, I did not." And he's like, "Then climb."
yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And he gets to the top of the mountain. And he just shouts into the distance, "Aku, I'm never going to stop.
Oh, fucking
Yeah.
hell yeah.
I will find you, and I won't stop looking."
Episode 8,
Yeah.
Jack and the Dragon.
Yeah. Oh, and that's where the episode ends.
Yes.
Like, it's just crazy how that cuts there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So cool.
He does it all the time, and he knows when to end an episode.
Yeah. Oh,
There are-
this episode had one of the funniest fucking jokes I've ever heard in my goddamn life in it.
Yes, I remember you telling me.
This floored me.
I can actually kind of do what you've been doing for like the first like arc of this episode.
What is that?
Of Jack and the Dragon.
Uh-huh.
Of explaining it.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jack and the Dragon, episode 8.
You want me to read the description? And you can, like, we apparently swapped roles somewhere during this show. So.
Just when it comes to Samurai Jack, because I
Yeah.
haven't seen it in so long. But Jack and the Dragon, the village. No, they're so short that we normally read it and then we talk about it. So
Let's do it.
Jack and the Dragon. The village is overpowered by a stench coming from the Spire, which is a nearby very tall mountain. Jack investigates and finds a dragon, and I'm not going to spoil how it ends just yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we could just talk about that because by explaining it, we're going to finish that. So we can just leave it there.
So Jack rolls up on like this medieval village, and it's destitute.
Stanky.
It's stanky. There's like somebody cast Sinking Cloud at 9th level and just stayed there. And it's destroying the crops. It's destroying like the water supply.
Like, the villagers are literally so overcome with the smell that they cannot talk.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah, it's bad. It's stanky. And Jack runs into, I believe, a butcher.
Like a merchant.
A
kinda.
merchant, right?
He's a butcher, he's a gambler, he's a laundromat, he's a shoemaker.
Right, I forgot how many things he does. But the big thing about the merchant is the merchant isn't affected by the stench because he doesn't have a nose.
Yeah.
He cut off, his nose was either cut off or cut his own nose off, and he doesn't have a nose. And Jack is like, "Does the stench not bother you?" And then he just like sort of looks at him and goes, "Oh."
I see.
And so the merchant is like, "Do you want to know about the stench? Do you want to know why we are suffering like this? Do you want to know what made hours of backbreaking labor in the fields useless? Did you know what brought us down?" And he goes, "It's the spire. It's the scent that's coming from the spire."
No,
whatever.
he actually doesn't. He doesn't give the information out.
Mhm.
His crow does.
Right.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite parts of this episode. He goes, "So obviously for the right price, I'll tell you." And he's like, "Oh, it's information you want. Well, I could, if you pay me, I could give." He's like, "What? Why don't you just tell me?" And he goes, "Come with me for a second." He goes outside, takes Jack outside, points to the sign on top of his building, and goes, "Can you read that sign there?" He's like, "Village blacksmith." "Yeah." "Where on that sign does it say free information?"
Love it. Love this character.
So he goes back in, and the crow is just like, he's like, "The spire, the dragon." He's like, "Don't tell him about the dragon." And he's like, "What dragon?" And he's like, "Don't you fucking say." He's pointing at the, "Don't you fucking say anything." He's like, "Where can I find this dragon?" Don't you do it." He's like, "To the east! The spire to the east!"
Right. So
Yeah.
the crow fesses up, and the merchant after that, kind of recognizes that Jack is going to like go on this anyway.
Yeah.
And he asks him to either, kind of confirm the existence of or rescue his daughter, who has been taken by the dragon.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So Jack finds his way to the spire, and it turns out that the dragon just has a real bad case of indigestion.
Yeah. Before that, can we go over my favorite joke in cartoon history so far?
Yes. Sorry, yeah. I forgot the merchant tells it. Yeah, you're right.
This was so fucking good. So he's on his way up to the mountain. He's like, wait, like the merchant's running after him. He's like, wait a minute. Okay, fine. So I'm going to help you get up there. I'm going to give you something. This one's on me. This is on me. He gives Jack a sheep's bladder, which is disgusting, by the way. And he's like, this is going to help you against the smell. Breathe calmly, and this will filter the smell out. So he's just like, if you take the path, it's like, just please kill this dragon because I've lost a daughter to this thing.
Oh, he killed
Yeah.
the daughter. Okay, that's what
Yeah.
I thought. Yes.
So and he's just like, when you get to the fork in the road, go to the right up the rocky path, and there you'll reach the dragon's lair, right?
Yeah.
And then Jack goes, what's down the other path? And the merchant goes, Space Ace.
Little Don Bluth joke there.
It was one of those jokes where I had to pause it and just look at my iPad for a second and be like, what?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, explain the joke for the folks out there that might not know.
There was an arcade game called Dragon's Lair, and it was a very famous arcade game. Don Bluth did it, Disney animator, beautifully animated game. And then there was a sequel quote unquote, like another game he did called Space Ace. So those are his two games, and he's like, you're going up to the Dragon's Lair.
Yeah.
What's on the other side? Space Ace.
Yeah, I mean, I bet Genndy liked himself a Dragon's Lair. A solo swordsman against impossible odds. Yeah,
absolutely.
I wouldn't doubt he would have snuck a little reference in there.
So fucking funny, but it's one of those blink and you miss it jokes. That was definitely for the parents watching because that was amazing.
Yeah, I don't think any kids are going to get a 1980s arcade reference. Episode 9, Jack and the 5 Hunters.
Oh, wait, we didn't say what the indigestion was because he actually goes inside the dragon.
Is that horrifically important?
Yes, it is.
To the overall story?
I mean, yeah, kind of. It was cute.
Oh.
It was a baby dragon inside.
I don't know why it caused indigestion, though.
Because he was, burping up flames and roasting the dragon's
so why
insides.
Why is he in the stomach? Isn't this clearly if this is a mother dragon? Shouldn't this be coming from a reproductive manner?
I don't know dragon anatomy.
I do. Think I'm fucking joking. I have a degree in draconology. Damn it!
The way you looked at me, I don't think you're joking.
You know those books?
Yeah.
Those books, the draconology books, at the end they give you a little certificate that says you're an expert in dragons, Colton. Don't fucking tell me I'm not an expert on something that you don't know dick about.
Okay.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, a weird way to get indigestion, but miracle of life, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
know.
It's a weird episode.
Episode 9, Jack and the 5 Hunters. Aku challenges the Imakandi, regarded as the greatest hunters in the universe, to capture the ultimate prey.
God, this episode was awesome.
Jack.
Sorry. It's a reflex.
Yeah, damn right. Yes, so the Imakandi, this is very much like the most dangerous game type episode.
Yeah.
Jack is legitimately being hunted.
Yeah, by the best hunters in the universe. And these guys are basically just lion people. They're so cool looking. Mm-hmm. They are amazing looking. They have just hunt with spears, bows, rope, and darts.
Nice.
Crazy.
I love that.
Yeah. So they're very, very heavily based on African culture, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're very honorable. They're very like by the books. They're very just for the thrill of the hunt. That's it. You know, Aku offers them riches, gems, jewels. He's like, we don't need any of that. We just need to know that this is going to be a fun hunt, and that's it. You know?
Yeah, I like.
And I'm like, that's so fucking cool, man. So Jack gets literally tracked down by these fucking guys, and he's cornered up in these like antenna like things, like the top of the buildings, you know. So he gets an arrow fired at him, and he catches the arrow out of the air, right? This is how good these hunters are. The arrow was actually a snake.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
no.
was a species of snake, and it bit him, and he fell unconscious. And then they dove after him. They tied a rope to one of their legs and dove after him and caught him. And then they brought him to Aku, pretty much, quote unquote. And Aku's like, "You've done well. I'll take him, and then you can go back to your world." And they go, "No." And he's like, "What?"
Excuse me.
He's like, "Our people believe that this creature has given us the most exciting hunt we have ever had, and it has earned its right to live. So we will be setting it free."
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love chaotic neutrals.
Yeah.
The best.
Absolutely. So they teleport themselves out of there. They have that ability, I guess.
I mean, if you're a hunter, I guess that would be pretty useful, yeah.
Exactly. And they just set Jack free. And they send a transmission to him. They go, "Samurai Jack, it was a pleasure hunting you. Go. Be free."
How'd you like to be Jack in this situation? He's like, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck? Did I just almost die and like have no context of what happened to me?
And Jack just fucking carries on.
Just another fucking day in the life, bro.
Just carries on.
Okay. Next episode, coolest Samurai Jack antagonist. Period. End of story. I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree in favor of this. Jack versus Demongo the Soul Collector.
Oh, that's his name.
Demongo is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So fucking
I love
cool.
his voice. I hated it at first, but it really grew on me.
Yes.
He has this really
high-pitched
high-pitched voice.
High-pitched and creepy. I love Demongo.
But I love the way he says the word master.
Master.
It's like, I will bring him to you, my master.
Yeah, he was so cool. He had like the skull necklace and like the flame head.
He had a whole vest of skulls.
He's so cool. I know Scaramouche is very big and important to you, but I love
Scaramouche.
It's all Demongo all day for me.
No, you're right. Demongo was definitely a cooler villain. I'm very upset that he lasted so not long.
Yeah, he literally lasts for this one episode.
Yeah, like we never heard about him, and we never hear from him again. So like,
Aku sends his servant Demongo, a demon who captures and enslaves the souls of warriors to serve him to destroy Jack. Literally, what? That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. Just
he captures their essence and can use them to battle other people.
That is one of my favorite tropes. Period.
How fucking amazing is that? And
love that.
They all show up, and Jack's like, "Wait a minute, I know these warriors," and he's like, "Yeah. Because I killed them and took their essence. So now they fight for me."
And I remember that actually really affects Jack. Like, you can see that it's like fucked. Like he was like, "Ooh, no, this is like ultimate disrespect for a warrior," right?
Yeah, and he's just like, "I want your essence." So he goes on, and he's just like fighting through all of them. He beats all four of them, obviously. And then they just come back. And Jack's just like, "Wait a minute, I just beat them." And he's like, "So there must be a disconnect here. You don't seem to understand that I can just do that."
Yeah, he can just do that.
Yeah, so he summons out like 100 different warriors. And Jack is like, on a stealth mission pretty much.
Mhm.
And then he just fights his way through all 100 of them. It was incredible. And then as the last one was beaten, he's just like, how do I stop him from reaching into the essence of these warriors? I have to free the essence. So as this essence is going back into Demongo, he grabs hold of it and gets sucked into Demongo as well.
Yes.
And he goes and he sees all the warriors he just fought. They're all kneeling with flame circles around them. He's like, what do I do here? So he goes and he cuts one of the flame circles. He goes very specifically up to a samurai, another samurai with a naginata and one of those Oni masks.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. So cool.
I'd give my life to own one of those.
Right? And he cuts the flame circle and he just disappears. And you see a beam of light shoot out of Demongo.
Magic sword, bro. Let's
Yeah.
go.
So he just goes around cutting all of these essence rings out of there. And Demongo just it turns to vapor. He just fries because all of his essence is gone. He has nothing left, and he just gets teleported back to Aku. And this is one of the, I love Aku as a villain because I don't know why this made me laugh so hard, but Demongo gets trapped in like a crystal skull, right? Like a skull prison. And he's just like, please, my master, give me another chance. And he goes, no. Crushes it.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
I was like, I don't know why that made me laugh so hard. It was just no.
Yeah.
Just immediate.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Aku's horrible hiring practices, we would have gotten some more Demongo content.
Absolutely.
Colton, I've got an update for you.
Yep.
Episode 11, just so you know, Jack is naked.
Yes, this was a fucking weird one.
What an odd episode.
This is actually, when you're watching a show and like you get to an episode in the season where you're like, I could have skipped that. That had no importance.
Yeah.
This had no importance.
I mean, it's in the title.
Yeah.
It's really in the title.
You want to know the context of the episode? You want to know the lesson at the end? A girl.
There's a lesson?
There's a less, quote unquote, like
What?
the cute resolution at the end. So Jack's clothes he goes and takes a shower. His clothes get stolen. He's running through a British town naked, and they're all chasing him. He crashes a train, and like fucking this little girl at the end is like, I stole your clothes and your gi because it looked valuable. I haven't eaten in days. It's one of those,
One charming Cockney pickpocket.
Yeah, it's a charming Cockney pickpocket episode. We can honestly skip it. There's nothing there.
No, yeah, we're about to. I mean, yeah, Jack must chase him a serious thief.
It was very Scooby-Doo-esque,
I just wanted to read this. Who stole his clothing while he was bathing, but things get complicated when his pursuit leads him into another world whose denizens could gaze on his nudity. I just wanted to read that.
He was never really naked.
It was really just how many things can we hide Samurai Jack's dick behind for
pretty much,
an entire episode?
Yeah.
So
There's the almost naked guy. Stop, almost naked guy.
all right. So episode 12 contains one of the most viscerally upsetting character designs in all of Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Episode 12, Jack and the Spartans.
Oh, but man, what a fucking cool episode.
Great one. While ascending a mountain, Jack encounters a hidden society of warriors who have fought a nearly 500-year war against an army of robots and offers to help them put an end to it because that's literally just what the fuck Samurai Jack does.
Yeah. He just sees this Spartan warrior getting outnumbered by robot minotaurs, by the way.
That is fucking cool.
Amazing.
On brand.
On brand. Extremely on brand. So he just jumps in and helps this guy fight. Just because.
Even though the Minotaur was technically on the island of Crete and not Sparta. But
That's all right. The robot minotaurs were.
they're
Robot
hanging
minotaurs
out.
don't give a fuck.
I don't think this is even Sparta, but there's just Spartans.
Yeah.
There's 500-year-old Spartans still kicking it.
Yeah, can you guess how many there are?
300 of
Yeah,
them.
roughly.
Yeah, probably.
So,
Thermopylae,
Yeah,
let's
man.
go.
so the Spartan that he ended up helping was the Spartan prince.
Spartak
Yeah, no, the prince. Spartak is the king.
is the king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just like, all right. He's like, obviously, thank you for the help, and he takes him to the king, and the king's first words. You could see that this king cares about his people. He's like, I see that you are badly hurt, and I fear you guys won't last another attack. And they're like, no, we will fight. And he's like, I know you will, and I know you won't fail me. And he goes into the tent, and he's looking at Jack. He's like, who are you, and why did you help us fight? And he's just like, they weren't attacking you. What are you doing here? And Jack's like, I meant no disrespect. I simply saw that he was in need of help. He was outnumbered, and that's all. And he starts to walk away. And one of the coolest lines I've ever heard from like a position of like royalty or of like that was, stop, wait. This war has made my words harsh and my tone insolent. I'm sorry. Like, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. I would too after 500 years.
Yeah, but like, that was, I don't know why, that was really cool. Like he could have just been like, sorry. It's like, he could have just not did that.
It's like, sorry, I'm the king. I can talk however I want.
Yeah, he could have just did that, but he's like, no, I see you as a friend.
Yeah.
I want you to be here as a friend, not as someone who's forced to be here.
Everyone in Samurai Jack respects Jack so hard.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is just dick riding Jack constantly.
Because like he walks in a room and you just know that he's there for a good reason.
Right.
And it's just like this one of the coolest sequences in all of Samurai Jack, where Jack is just explaining that there's another way into their town. They've spent their whole 500 years thinking that there's only one choke point into their town, and they've been defending that, but the Minotaurs have just been dragging all of their bodies back and rebuilding themselves to just come back.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's basically the story of a mad machine king that's attacking Sparta. So,
like it do.
yeah,
Like it happened. Like it happened.
So fucking cool, man. So Jack's like, no, there isn't only one way into here. I came through another way. And they're like, what? He's like, if you go through sideways, weapons at your sides, you can get through this little pass. And they're like, okay. And the king is like, all right, we ride very soon. You, me, and 50 of our best people. We're going to go and take the fight to them.
50.
50.
Damn.
Only 50.
Yeah.
And man, do they take the fucking fight to these robots.
It was a cool episode.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
And then when they get to the Machine King, oh my God, I could dick ride this episode all day.
Mm-hmm.
All day. So it's Jack and Spartak are the only two people that get in there. And they have to fight this Machine King. So Jack has one of the Spartan shields too, by the way. So he's just a samurai with a Spartan shield. So cool. And they're fighting this big spider-like Machine King. And they cut off the legs. They're just doing like coordinated fighting. Like Spartak is defending Jack and Jack is defending him. And they're just like parrying these things left and right. And Spartak's sword breaks on the Machine King. So Jack just throws his sword to Spartak.
The magic sword.
Yeah, the magic sword. And Spartak throws his shield to him, and Jack's just parrying away with these shields, and Spartak's just cutting down this Machine King with a magical fucking katana. And it is just so cool. Spartak throws the sword through the Machine King's head, and it explodes. And then it cuts to the end of the episode where Spartak's an old man surrounded by all of his family and the prince who's now the king. And he's just telling the story of how, this guy just came out of nowhere and saved us. And the only thing we found of him was his shield. So they mounted it on the royal wall, like the tattered and broken shield. And he's just like, but I have a feeling that he's still out there because a warrior like that would not die so easy.
That's a good.
And
one.
it just cuts to a silhouette of Jack with his sword in the smoke, and then it's done.
That's fucking cool.
Oh!
All right. Episode
So cool.
13, the last of season 2, Jack's shoes. When a gang of robot bikers destroy his sandals, Jack seeks revenge, but he realizes that he cannot do so without footwear, something he has difficulty choosing. Genndy Tardakovsky, always ending these seasons
On
on
a weird note.
strange little note. It's like, okay, I know we just did like a lot. Maybe it's kind of that. Maybe it's like, all right, I know that like some of this was silly, some of this wasn't.
Yeah.
Here's a little like,
Yeah.
something on the way
It
out.
was literally just like a silly shoes episode, you know? It was really weird, but like this one was definitely more fun to watch than Aku's fairy tales, I'm not gonna lie. Like I remember that episode being hilarious when I was a kid, but then I rewatched it. I'm like, oh, I could do without this episode actually.
Wow.
Yeah, but this one was kind of cute. It's just a nice way to end the show. It's like a nice like breather, you know, before the next season. Which the next season is one of my favorites of Samurai Jack because we get the fucking line where he's just like, all right, enough. We get the Aku. He's like, okay, put that thing away, Samurai. You know where this is going. I know where this is going. You're going to cut me. I'm going to go, I'll be back, Samurai. I'll fly off into the distance and then we won't see each other for about a week.
Yep.
That's my
It's the
favorite.
whole show.
Yeah.
The whole show.
Oh, so fucking funny.
Yeah. So, I mean, season 2 definitely... I think that season 1 has higher artistry of episode, but I think that season 2 has a better variance of episodes.
Yeah, it's definitely coming into the show that we knew it was. It's not just like Samurai Jack season 1 felt like a demo. You know what I mean? It felt like a demo for what the show could be. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like a show. It kind of felt like a series of pilot episodes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think that's kind of the advantage of doing things as like single shot episodics.
Yeah.
And really only having the general Aku line, a through line of Aku and Jack and going back to the past.
Yeah. And this episode definitely felt more, this season felt way more fleshed out than season 1. And don't get me wrong, season 1 was a fucking masterpiece, but it definitely was less fleshed out than season 2. And season 3 only expands upon that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just gets better and better. And then when we eventually talk about season 5, I will change that, but it's fine. Like, I love season 5, don't get me wrong, but man, is it a weird step down from season 4. It's like,
Is that the last one?
yeah, it's the last one. That's the most recent one.
I haven't watched the most recent one, so
Yeah. It's cool. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ending was a little strange, but it wasn't bad. So I just like, it just wasn't Samurai Jack the way I remembered it, and it's definitely suffered from Duke Nukem Forever syndrome. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where I guess it really was the Samurai Jack we always used to know and love, but just waiting that long for it and being adults, we just don't react the same way to things.
I don't know.
You know?
Certainly not you.
Like, well,
Couldn't possibly be you.
well, I refuse to grow up, so like that's
No.
I actively refuse.
Okay.
But I that's Samurai Jack season 2, guys.
It is. It's full of ups, downs, weirds, and goods.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's only natural for some things to work in your second season and some things to not work in your
Yeah.
second season. You know, it's not going to be perfect, especially because this is kind of your first attempt after your first attempt.
Yeah.
You know,
That would be a second attempt.
Thank you. However, I was phrasing it as such because obviously your first attempt is going to be full of the things that don't work at all, but then you have your first attempt in order to have basically
Yeah.
a new first attempt.
Like a redo of a first attempt.
I'm basing it on something that Neil Gaiman once said where he was talking about second drafts of stories, where he's like your second draft is to trick the audience into making it seem like you knew what you were doing the whole time.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think that's kind of what happens with Samurai Jack. There are shifts in the storytelling in the next 2 seasons that kind of are the best combinations of what worked in the first and second.
Yeah, I agree. And I can't wait to talk about it.
Sure.
So I'm going to go watch that pretty much now. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. If you want to go and check out the proposal video, it's on my Instagram, it's on my Twitter, all at Easy Special. Follow my Twitch schedule. I Twitch.
You do.
I do Twitch sometimes, but I stream on Fridays and I stream on Sundays. Between the hours of 6 and 8, start times are usually fluid, so make sure to just kind of be aware. I'm starting to stream on Wednesdays now. Woundscape.
Oh my gosh.
It's not the official title, but yeah, I mean, all right, Zach?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Anyway,
Woundscape.
Zach, anything to plug after that?
My nose and mouth so that I don't take in any more oxygen. Good night, everybody. How'd you like that?
Just walking up to random people and screaming at them, "Do you fuck Joe?"
Get me pictures of the cello fucker.